Best hardware.
RTX 1080 Ti.
I will surrender my vote to Chris Gerard.
Google
Chris
Stadia.
Gerard did
Whatever
not-
Chris says.
Get out. You are over.
Josh is like, I'm dying on this
I'm
hill.
gonna throw out Nintendo Switch Lite.
And I'm gonna artifact
Okay,
while I'm doing
I'll go with that.
I'm gonna say
Just
Switch
drop into a
Lite.
pitfall.
Oh my.
Why?
What?
Is this like computer hardware or like system hardware?
Anything.
Because they took the Switch and like cut the functionality in half. Like, no, I'm genuinely curious.
Added
The D-pad. It also
Arcade,
fits in my pocket.
It does.
Yeah,
Arcade
it's
1-Up
smaller.
Star Wars cabinet.
That
I've
is
heard,
really cool.
I've heard
Thing a
really,
lot.
I've heard really good things about that.
I don't know.
cabinet,
Maybe
though.
we
Yeah.
should just table
It's a
this.
very
'cause
well built cabinet.
Yeah.
Krabs
I don't
didn't
know.
have anything in
All right,
it.
let's table it for now.
RTX 1080 Ti is really impressive piece of hardware, both from a gaming
RTX
standpoint.
2080 Ti.
It's so impressive.
You know what?
From it.
Honestly,
I don't know.
honestly, we'll get into this tomorrow
Just gotta say it.
or whenever. But Google Stadia, like honestly, the idea of Google Stadia is very impressive.
What about the execution of Google Stadia?
The rubber
The
hit
idea-
the road and like veered
But
off.
The
What?
idea
No,
of
listen to
Christina
me.
Ricci
Listen-
falling in love with me.
Listen to me. Listen to me.
So impressive.
But I don't consider Google Stadia hardware.
No, it's
It's
not.
software.
It's a platform.
Correct.
Yeah,
It's
it's the same.
software.
It's the same
I
way
don't
that
even
Apple
consider it
Arcade
a
isn't
platform.
hardware.
I don't
Not
even consider
even-
it a platform. It's
So
software.
best technology.
Donovan, it's all about comes down to you.
Best,
again.
I wouldn't even go that far,
This is coming on the
to be honest.
All
I
right.
don't know what you're talking about.
But okay.
Here's
Honestly.
here's the thing.
Like, what are we?
The 2080 Ti is a great thing, but I feel like we talk about video cards almost every year.
Yes.
Yeah.
Arcade 1-Up Star Wars cabinet, which I played for like an hour before coming here today, is just super cool. Like this year alone, between that and the 4-player TMNT cabinet, they're really doing a great job. Of
Why didn't you bring it for all of us to play, David?
But here's
Yeah.
It was
here's
stuff in
the-
his
here's the-
backpack.
But here's the thing about the
Not for your full
not
PC
that Star Wars
device.
cabinet, but the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cabinet is it's very cheaply made. Like I've seen people like
That's
the
why- that's why you
stuff
try to
rubs-
afford
does
it.
it cost $3,000?
Yeah, I
That's-
know
yeah.
the stuff rubs off, but you're talking best hardware, not most
no.
affordable hardware, right?
That was a problem they cleared up like 2 years ago. All of the cabinets now come with the protectors
yeah,
for wrists, so that your sweat doesn't rub off.
but the buttons and the stuff like it's cheap.
The Star Wars
cabinet
cabinet is the opposite of that, though.
Yeah, right. That's what I've heard. Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was the one I nominated was the Star Wars cabinet.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like-
I'm just saying, like,
I agree on the Star
I
Wars
don't know.
cabinet.
As a video editor, I want a 280 Ti really bad, but I gotta say for it because I think
well,
it's.
what do you got?
I said Switch Lite.
All right.
I agree with Osip on Switch Lite.
Fits in my pocket.
I'll go with Arcade 1-Up.
You guys can.
All right, on the 280 Ti, that hardware is too impressive not to move for it.
I think in the future, just something to consider in the future, like next year, I think we should have best PC hardware and then best hardware.
We have best
Because-
gaming accessory and best hardware.
Not
I got
just
something for
accessory,
that.
Because like I think that it's very
So best gaming
it's very
hardware and best
imbalanced.
PC hardware.
it's very imbalanced to like throw graphics cards in with like
That's
the
what I was
Switch
saying,
Lite and stuff
every
like
year
that.
graphics cards
Because-
come up.
Because every couple of years we're going to see Nvidia or someone release like a great piece of PC hardware that changes things, and that's always going to be guaranteed to win, no matter what else comes out.
Sam, what's your
You know?
take?
I just had a look through our reviews to see what hardware rated pretty well, and I wasn't too sure if it counts, but Chris rated the Origin PC Neuron quite highly, so I popped that in there.
He also put that in as I think his vote for his best hardware as well, Chris.
He didn't. Not. He has a blank vote.
Oh,
Yeah, it's very weird.
I feel like somebody
I
put.
think he had another PC he was trying out this week. He said might get it.
He said there's something he's working on that might get it. So that's what I'm saying. Maybe we won't.
But we have a majority
Put it in
already
it.
for the Arcade 1-Up. don't
Star
we?
Wars Machine.
Why are you against that?
Why don't we just have a best PC?
Do we really want to get into why I'm against it?
Isn't that the point of it? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you can't say it sucks though, because then the
I am
PR.
curious. I am
The
genuinely
one that
curious.
I suggested is a device that can fit in my pocket, already plays my Nintendo Switch game. Your thing, it plays one game.
3 games.
3 games, technically.
3 games that are 30 years old. And I
not
can't
easy
take
to-
it anywhere. Your wife won't even let you keep it in the living
She
room.
was playing it today. She texted me.
She's okay with it in the living room now?
I don't know about that. If that's the case, I wouldn't go that far.
But remember, like
She's
you're
okay
like,
with it in the house,
she's
though.
she was like giving you some crap about it. It takes up space, is my point.
It was not easy to
Like,
recreate
are you
that
going to be
arcade
playing
experience.
that 3 months from now?
That
Like,
That-
if
what Ozzy
a
just
Switch
said,
Lite,
though.
I would be playing Tetris 99 on that every day.
on a Switch Lite specifically.
Yes.
Hey,
And I prefer playing Tetris 99 in handheld. I hate the D buttons. I like that they gave us a D-pad that you can play in handheld. That's the main reason. Now, I'm not saying that any of that's innovative. I'm just saying the release of that product, out of a lot of the gaming accessories and things that came out this year, it's way more valuable to me than an arcade cabinet for a game I've already
What
played.
did your review say?
I didn't review it.
Oh,
I
I thought
wrote
you
impressions
did.
of it.
Oh,
I had
you
a,
wrote
I was at I did like the preview thing of it. I was like, this is worth it.
Okay.
I think from a content creator standpoint, it is lacking some things. It doesn't have a dock. So if you're someone who only plays Switch and docked, it's not going to have any value for you.
Exactly.
But someone who plays it, I don't know, 60-40, 80-20,
Yeah.
it has a lot of value for me.
Yeah.
So that's why I brought it up. It was a hardware device that came out this year
Yeah.
that I think is selling very well that I also happen to like.
Do you have one?
Yeah.
Not yet. I gave mine to Tony. I had one
So you got a free one and you gave it away, but
to a person who did not have a Switch.
I
But
think
you get my
for-
point, right?
For
You-
me,
you didn't keep it
I
for
can't
yourself.
use it. I'm a content creator. I need to be
Yeah.
able to capture gameplay on these things. But one of the first things I'm getting for myself is definitely a teal Switch Lite.
to me the
For
Switch
sure.
Lite is like Nintendo finally admitting that the 3DS is dead. Like it's their answer to the 3DS being dead.
I think it's the Switch
it's-
is now using the DS playbook,
Yeah.
and we're going to see a lot
But-
more SKUs.
But
Yeah.
for me, like the reason that I'm like the arcade stuff is impressive. It's very impressive. But for me, it's just they're just taking stuff from 30 years ago and bringing it back, which is fine. But it's all good and all. But I just think that it's a very niche market. Like whereas something like the Switch Lite
I think
has such a
That's it.
wider reach.
That's an
See, I don't think it's niche though. I think like the reason that it's doing so well is because everybody that grew up fantasizing about owning their arcade is now at the age where they can afford to like buy something frivolous in this price range.
Yeah,
yes,
that's
but the thing is, that's a very niche market. The people that grew up playing in arcades
That's
is
not
a
a niche
very
market.
niche market.
No,
It
it's
is a very niche market.
They're doing
it's
extremely well.
it's a specific age range group. I'll give you that.
which makes it
But
niche.
it's also no, because it's
Yeah.
the age group with the largest consuming power. That's
Yeah,
not
money.
niche at all. That is absolutely the
he's talking about
biggest
buying
buying power
Yeah.
out there is the people that are old enough to
I-
remember arcades.
I think you underestimate the power that kids.
But how
running
much
shit
square footage
has.
does the average
Statistics.
person
Kids
who
get
can
all
buy
their
these
money
things
from
actually
the
have?
35-year-olds
You could
that are
literally
buying
stick
these
this arcade
arcade
right in that
cabinets.
corner right
Whatever
there.
money
Keep
kids
pushing
are
against the
spending
wall.
is coming from the people
I'm
buying these
aware.
arcade one-ups.
I'm
so,
aware.
So, like, that, I think that right there, since all the money is coming from these people, proves that it is the largest consumer market right there. Because their money, the money that kids are consuming stuff with is coming from them, and the money they're buying the arcade one-ups is coming from them.
I'm a good case study.
Uh-huh.
I'm a video game nerd. I have disposable income. I don't own a single arcade one-up machine because it just doesn't appeal to me. And that's my point. It's like there's people that might fall into that category you're even talking about, that addressable market,
Yeah.
that still don't want it.
Like, I'm not
a huge Switch fan,
arguing-
and the Switch Lite does nothing. For
You
me.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying.
I'm not
though, is like-
arguing that. I'm not arguing against your points at all, Blake. But I just think that that consumer market is more apt to spend far more money for the group that the Switch Lite is going to appeal to than they are on arcade machines.
It's
It's a weird argument.
It's-
It
I'm
is.
not.
It is a weird
I'm
argument. It's
not
not
faulting either hardware. I'm just saying,
Yeah.
from my perspective, what do I think is more useful product to me in 2019? What am I more wowed by? It's a Nintendo Switch that fits in my pocket.
Right.
So I've actually watched a lot of the reviews of the Turtles cabinet, like from multiple people, and most of the higher end ones, the people who are the real arcade enthusiasts, they get them and they remove all the outside components and replace them with premium components.
Yeah, but that's because...
that's a niche subset. of
Yeah,
the
that's a
market.
much more niche. Most people aren't going to care about that.
Well, yeah.
And I mean, like, I have my arcade cabinet that I play on the regular, like,
You have the
I have
centipede
the-
one, right? Or the
I have set up in my apartment. I have the one that has Final Fight, Strider,
okay, yeah.
and Ghosts and
Goblins.
Goblins, and one of the 1943 games.
I'll just say
And
this.
I play it all the time.
Ever
And
since I was a kid, like the reason I got my first job with Paper Out, I've wanted to own an arcade game. And as Blake said, for that demographic, like I couldn't sit with a Paper Out. I wasn't going to save up like $3,500 for Mortal Kombat 2 or a Star Wars cabinet or Ninja Turtles 2.
Oh, they were $3,000, weren't they?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
I
dude.
remember how many. Yeah.
Like forget.
They were
about the
really
fact that
unaffordable.
they're, like,
Oh no,
way
there's a
up.
total innovation that's occurred at Arcade 1-Up in my
So
arcade.
my thing against the Switch Lite, and I'm a huge Switch fan. It's my favorite console. The Switch Lite is one of those that I already have, but is less functional. And I think this argument does come down to subjectivity, right? Like,
Yeah.
like objectively, it's not as useful for you because you're a content creator, but subjectively, you're really impressed with it.
Yeah.
And I
As
just-
a player of Tetris 99, I want
yeah.
it. As someone who has to
I'll
capture
also say
gameplay.
I'm a docked player. Like,
Yeah.
the
But-
handheld only, it's not something I would ever.
Well, see, I play
the
in
only-
handheld
the only-
90% of the time. My
Yeah.
I
favorite
think a
handheld.
lot of people do.
The only thing I really have left to say about like the Star Wars cabinet in particular is like I was telling David, like I think it was like yesterday,
Yeah.
about how like the Atari Vector Graphics Star Wars arcade game is my favorite Star Wars game of all,
Yeah.
and I have like very like fond specific memories of playing that at the Chuck E. Cheese I grew up with. So like the Star Wars cabinet in particular appeals to me
that.
because that's an experience that you can't replicate by just holding a
No.
controller.
For sure.
Like
I
you
love
need the
Vector,
cabinet.
right? But-
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. A MAME emulator isn't going to give you that same experience.
Yeah.
So I think like stuff like that
The novelty
is
having
what
that
like
in
really
your apartment.
appeals.
Like we've seen
Yeah.
those games like re-released. It's not the same.
Yeah,
I will argue.
No, they're
No,
not
yeah,
the same.
100%.
Yeah.
I get where you're coming from, 100%.
yeah. So to be able to bring that experience home
For
is
sure.
like I
For an
think a
affordable
big
price, too.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it's a big innovation, especially with like the Turtles and the Star Wars ones in particular. You know, because I feel like Street Fighter has been emulated a lot over the years and done in
Arguably,
a
you
lot of
don't want
different
the
ways.
arcade cabinet of Street Fighter because it's a 4-gate stick.
Yeah.
And that's no good.
So I think like for this particular subject, I think what it comes down to in my particular view of it is that I don't feel like there's anything that the Switch Lite does that the original Switch can't do besides fit in your pocket.
So it's like if you own a Switch, why would you get a Switch Lite?
Right.
Basically,
And
right?
I think it's good to have the option. I think it's good that they decided to come up with something like that.
It's the same concept. What I think's so funny about this, it's the same concept. You guys are touting affordability of Arcade 1-Up and how
Oh, no,
it
no,
makes
I
it
was
so
gonna
that
go
you
further
can bring
in-
these into. A $200 Switch Lite makes the product so much more accessible. to people.
$100 more makes it more functional.
Oh, wait, let me get to my actual point.
Oh,
Yeah.
Every time I talk to the Arcade 1-Up guys, which I have done so a lot over the years, the effort that they put into making it a one-to-one transition from the original hardware to the arcade floors me. Like, they actually, when it came to the Street Fighter arcade, they actually went in and created input lag for, like, Ryu's Hadouken because when they were close enough with the developer that the developer told him, you got to have that in there because that's the original feel. If you're going for the original feel, then you need to create, like, the technicalities of the actual experience. And I think that's kind of what puts Arcade 1-Up up there for me, is that they... When you look at the design of the Star Wars 1-Up machine, the yoke on the original Atari Star Wars 1-Up machine, or the yoke on the original Atari machine was stainless steel, and it is just not sensible to mass produce a yoke like that anymore. It's too costly, and so they went out of their way to like create this hard plastic yoke that had the exact same feel and heft of that stainless steel yoke. And that's like the kind of thing that puts them over the top as far as best hardware for me.
Attention to detail.
The attention
I will
to
say
detail.
this. Joy-Con drift being in Switch Lite, that's kind of inexcusable.
That's really bad.
Oh yeah, that's weird. I didn't even know that was a thing.
Yeah, that's a thing.
And so
Yeah.
that's and
why
that-
that's why I haven't bought one yet.
And so
Yeah.
that's where I go with it, is that the light is acceptably like a good direction to go, but it doesn't bring anything new to the table. Arcade 1-Up is kind of innovating with what they're doing every time they make a new machine, and that's what puts them over the top for me.
Okay, so I guess vote Arcade 1-Up, Arcade 1-Up,
Arcade 1-Up.
Arcade 1-Up,
Right, Arcade 1-Up.
RTX.
RTX 2080.
I have to. It's too.
What do you got, Josh?
I mean, I'm sticking with this with the Switch Lite.
Switch
I
Lite.
just-
Same Switch.
Switch Lite. So
Think
it's
it's 3
great
for
hardware.
Switch Lite,
Sam, what do you got?
I'll go with the Switch Lite.
Okay.
4
Sam,
for
Lite.
Switch Lite.
Oh, wow.
Bill is on Switch Lite.
Oh,
Brittany, so that's 5 for Switch Lite.
yep.
What did Brittany say?
Brittany did not vote.
Oh,
Pretty
so I think Switch
stands.
Lite wins.
Yeah, I think Switch Lite wins.
Wow,
Oh, that was close.
by the hair of its
It's
nose.
a good discussion.
Yeah.
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 But by the hairs on your hoodie right there.
Yes. You know what? These are. It's from this.
No, I.
Yeah.
Yeah, the hoodie hairs.
Oh, wow.
That's not Lola hair.
It's not Lola hair. She's
Hi,
just
Lola.
shit
my
like
case.
Hi, Lola. Hi, Lola.
She's
Switch
doing
Lite.
great. Wait, so what do we
Doing
do?
great.
Switch Lite wins something. Nintendo will also throw that award in the trash when we send it to them.
Sweet.
They might throw the next one away too.
Arcade 1-Up wouldn't have.
What am I going to do with the award? Nothing. I don't know what I'm going to do. That's the least of my concerns right now.